Hi, I'm Renée McLennan from the town of Bassendean, and I'm on site at 1 Surrey Street, which houses the historic Pensioner Guard Cottage, which was built in 1856, and the residence that we're in now, which was built in 1893. Now, these are both really important buildings in not only Bassendean but WA's history. And I'm here with Reece, who is the Executive Director of the Museum of Perth, and he's going to explain to us a little bit about his organisation and their plans for this site. Welcome, Reece.
Thank you. The Museum of Perth is a not-for-profit incorporated association. We run a museum and a research hub in the city of Perth at the Atlas building. We've got a great gallery there where we run exhibitions on the history of the city. We've also got research offices in Fremantle, one down in the West End in partnership with Notre Dame University, and we've also got a research office in Bunbury, which is in partnership with the city of Bunbury. Over the last 6 or so years, we've been establishing research hubs and doing local history research projects in partnership with local governments and community organisations. The Pensioner Guard Cottage and Residence here in Bassendean is such an important piece of Western Australia's history. As the descendant of 2 pensioner guards myself, I've always been really intrigued by this building. It's the last standing pensioner guard cottage in the metropolitan area of Perth, and so it really is a very significant site. But as you may be able to see, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the adjoining residence, which we're standing in now, which was built in 1893, as you mentioned. There are lots of issues that need to be dealt with here in the residence. We've got structural cracks in the walls, we've got a collapsing ceiling, we've got asbestos that's been identified in parts of the building, there's concrete cancer. There's all kinds of work that needs to be done, especially in the garden out the front and the pathways surrounding. We need to look at installing a universally accessible bathroom as well for members of the public visiting the site. And so we put in an expression of interest to the town and said, you know, we've got experience restoring heritage buildings, we've got experience running local history centres, we've got lots of experience managing volunteers and raising money, and we think that we could help. And so we're really proud to have been chosen by the council to take on this task. We're really excited to be working with the local community and with the Bassendean Historical Society and the arts community and other community groups who really love and treasure this building. There's a lot of work to do, so we're very interested in hearing from volunteers to help us out in the coming months and years. We'll also be doing a fundraising appeal if anyone would like to contribute to the restoration of this residence and to the cottage. That would be very much appreciated. Our plans for the site, towards the rear of this residence, we're looking at installing some offices so that our community volunteers, our training program participants and staff have room to work and research the history of the town and the site. We want to renovate these front rooms and turn them into an exhibition gallery so that visitors to the site can come in and see an exhibition on the history of the pensioner guards and the history of the town of Bassendean. The Pensioner Guard Cottage is really tiny. It's only 2 rooms. It's, you know, you might call it a tiny house. And so visiting the Pensioner Guard Cottage alone is actually a very short experience. But by establishing these rooms as an exhibition gallery, by putting some interpretive panels in the garden, by restoring the garden, as well, we're hoping that people will be able to stay here a bit longer and really appreciate more of the history of this site. Restoration projects like this take a lot of money, and as a state heritage registered site and one of the oldest buildings in Western Australia just next door, it really is going to take a big effort to restore these buildings. So we've committed to raising as much money as we need to get this work done. All of the work that needs to be done here in the residence in particular, as well as issues with the roof next door, you know, the gardens and the accessible bathrooms and the cracks and all the rest. It's going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're going to raise money year after year. We're going to keep ploughing money into this building until we get it up to the standard that the community expects. Heritage buildings like this are an ongoing obligation. So every single year, we're going to need to be putting money into restoring and looking after this property and maintaining it, making sure the water stays out, making sure the building stands up. and they really are an ongoing obligation, but we're very excited to be custodians of this building into the future.
It sounds fantastic, and I know our community here in Bassendean really values our heritage and our history.
Absolutely.
And people will be interested in knowing how they can be involved to support the great work that you're doing. Have you got any suggestions for how people might like to be involved?
For sure. We've got to put our restoration plans to council and get them approved. But once that's done, we'll be calling out for volunteers to be able to come in and help us with more of the unskilled labour. So things like sanding and painting and cleaning. Once we deal with the structural issues, there's all of the rest of it that needs to be done. People who love gardening, people who love home restorations, or people who love fundraising would really love to hear from members of the community to help us restore this building in a genuine partnership with locals.
Fantastic, and we're really grateful for the Museum of Perth's interest in this site. It's really important to our community, and so we welcome everything that you're bringing to our town, your expertise and your passion for the local history. And I know that it's going to deliver fantastic opportunities for our town to learn more and celebrate our history here in Bassendean.
Thank you.